Hey guys, welcome to Selective Prep Mathematics, test number 12. This is the solutions video for that exam. So as always, we'll just get started with an overview before we start the questions. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things related to fractions. So when we talk about the lowest common multiple or a common denominator that we're trying to make, what are we using this for? Okay, so have a quick think about it. So we're using the lowest common multiple, or we're trying to make a common denominator when we're doing what with two fractions. So what operation? When we're multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, which one are we using when we are trying to find a lowest common multiple? So the correct answer would be when we are adding two fractions together, okay, especially when those two fractions do not have the same denominator, okay? So that's when we use the lowest common multiple between the two denominators to find a common denominator, and then we can add those fractions together. So if they don't have the same denominator, we cannot add them together. Okay, so a quick example for you here. Okay, so I have three fractions, 4 over 12, 8 over 16, 1 over 24. Okay, first thing you should ever do when you have fractions, simplify them. Okay, if you don't simplify them, it's going to make things so much harder for you. So we simplify 4 over 12 to 1 over 3, 8 over 16 to 1 over 2, and then 1 over 24 you can't simplify any further. So the lowest common multiple between these three, I should circle that whole number. So the lowest common multiple between these three numbers is 24. So make sure that you're not just multiplying them together. Okay, it's the number into which all three of these fit into. Okay, it's the smallest number though. So that would be 24. Alright, so what we're going to try and do is make every denominator into 24 now. So 1 over 3, multiply top and bottom by 8. 1 over 2, multiply top and bottom by 12, and then 1 over 24 stays as is, okay? Add them together, you get 21 over 24. Now, one more thing when we look at fractions, so sometimes we need to multiply them. So we just looked at adding them, sometimes we need to multiply them, okay? And what we're trying to do, so when you break a fraction down, so let's say it's x, which could be anything, times 12 over 29, I don't know. So basically what this fraction means is x times 12 divided by 29. So you're multiplying by the numerator, dividing by the denominator. Okay, now the best thing to always do, if you can, is to divide by the denominator as much as you can, alright? So for example, if we look here, so we have an example, 43 over 96 times 192. Now if I multiply by 43 first, that'd be very difficult, okay? It would take me a while to do it. But if I divide by 96 first, what I'm going to get is 43, and then I'm going to divide 192 by 96. Okay, when you do that, it's equal to 2. Now 2 times 43 equals 86, and that was quick maths, you could probably do that in your head. Alright, versus if we did this step where we did 192 by 43 first, it's a waste of time. Okay, so always divide first, because then you get smaller numbers that make it easier to calculate things in your head. Now, question 1. So we're just adding things here. So you should do 837. So I'm just going to do these in size order. 837 plus 403 plus 159. I'm just going to add them all together in one go. Plus 82. So if you're not confident with adding them all in one go, okay, you can add them one at a time, but adding them all in one go would be much faster. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14. Okay, so 1481 should be your final answer. Alright, question 2. So a car is traveling at 80 and then it slows down to 75. It travels at 80 for 3.5 hours, travels at 75 for 1.5 hours. So 80 times 3.5, so let's break this down. 80 times 3 equals 240, 80 times 0.5 equals 40. So add them together. Now 75 times 1 is 75. Oops, sorry, that should say 1 and 1/3. So 75 times 1 equals 75. 75 times 1 on 3 equals 25. So this equals 100. This equals 280. Add them together, we get 380. Alright, 1/3 of Miss Zena's class are girls. So her class is 45 students large. And so 1/3 of that is 15 girls. So 30 boys. Okay, 5/6 of the boys have brown hair. So if you divide 30 by 6, okay, that's 5. So 1/6 equals 5. Therefore, 5/6 equals 25. So 5/6 of the boys have brown hair. How many boys don't have brown hair? So this many have brown hair. This many don't have brown hair. So that's 5. Now, which of these is another way of expressing the square root of 169? So that's 13. The square root of 169 is 13, which leads us to option D as the correct answer. So we'll just double check that. Make sure you're getting your bod mass correct. So 13 times 10 is 130 divided by, okay, you should be doing things in brackets first. 15 divided by 3 times 2. Okay, you go left to right when you have divide and times together. So 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 2 is 10. 130 divided by 10 is 13. So that's the answer we're looking for. Question 5. A slice of rich chocolate mud cake has 1 3/4 times the calories of a piece of carrot cake. So carrot cake has 460 calories, and mud cake has 1 3/4 times that. So what's 1/4 460? So let's divide it by 4. 1, 1, and 5. So 115. So 3/4. So this is 1/4. I do not know why it's still doing that. Sorry. So 115 times 3 equals 3/4. So that is 345. And that's 1 3/4, not just 3/4. So it's going to be 460 plus 345, which is 805. Question 6. When Deborah went to a party, she met 3 girls, Trisha, Kylie, and Fiona. If all 4 girls shake hands with each other, how many handshakes happen? So let's say girl 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so Trisha, or Deborah, is able to shake hands with 1, 2, 3 girls. Okay, Trisha has already shaken hands with Deborah, so she can only shake hands with Kylie and Fiona. So that's 2. And then Kylie has already shaken hands with Trisha and Deborah, so she can only shake hands with Fiona, and then Fiona has already shaken hands with everyone. So that's 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 6. Now, in a chocolate variety box, there's 12 assorted chocolates. Jimmy pranks his friend and replaces 2 with Vegemite. But then they all melt. Stuart's prank goes to waste. So Stuart picks out a chocolate first, and then Jimmy picks one out. So Stuart's chocolate is fine. So what's the chances that Jimmy has picked a Vegemite chocolate? How many spaces are left? They're not all chocolate. So how many spaces? 11. How many of them are Vegemite? 2. So that's 2 on 11. All right. Perimeter. What is the perimeter? How much fencing do we need? So this side is the same as this side. So that's 11 and 11. Okay, this, and this all together is the same as this, right? So this bottom side is 20. So this side here is 20. And then these 2 lengths in here are 11 minus 3. So 8. So we're going to have the sides, left and right, top and bottom, and then we're going to have the inside 2 sides, so 8. So that's going to be 11 times 2, so that's left and right, plus 20 times 2, plus 8 times 2. So it's going to be 22, that's going to be 40, that's going to be 16. So this is going to be 62 plus 16, which is 78 meters. Question 9. So we have line X is a fifth of line Y. And then line Z is half of line X. So we have line Y. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 5. And then this is where X is. So it's 1/5. Now it's 1/5, and then Z is half of line X. So that's going to be 1/10 of line Y. So a deck of 52 cards divided into 4 parts. So that's 13 cards each. And then Amy picks out 3 groups from the 4, okay, and then picks 2 cards. So three groups is 39 cards. And then picks 2 cards. What's the probability that they're both red queens? So let's say she picks the first card, okay, the chances of a red queen. So there's 2 red queens amongst 39 cards. So that's going to be 2 out of 39. So that's her first card. Now we got to look at her second card. So now there's 38 cards left, all right. There's 1 red queen left, so it's going to be 38. All right, so this is in the instance that she picked a red queen in the first go. And if she didn't, then we don't care about that scenario. We only care about the scenario where we actually did pick the red queen first. So it's going to be 2 on 39 times 1 on 38, which is equal to 1 on 749. Great. So that was our last question. Quick overview after the test. So the key points from this test are: when we're adding fractions together, try and make a common multiple or a common denominator using the lowest common multiple. And also, when we're multiplying by fractions, make sure you divide by the denominator first and multiply by the numerator later, if that's possible, and always make sure you're simplifying. Alright, that brings us to the end of this video. I will see you all in the next video.